Cruising as a party of one is becoming more widely recognized as a choice and less as a circumstance. Of course, the decision to cruise solo is personal, but this vacation option isn't just for widowers or people without a partner. In fact, cruising is one of the best vacation options for those looking to travel solo, as you have unhassled relaxation, an upbeat atmosphere, and a built-in ship of companions. But of course, like planning any vacation, there are special considerations to think about when cruising solo. But don't worry, we have you covered, as we have our expert tips and tricks for cruising solo up next. Welcome aboard, cruisers. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Cruise, where we help you plan the perfect cruise so you can see the world one port at a time. Now, if you're thinking of taking a cruise solo, there are several things you need to consider, from jacked up room rates, the social gymnastics, as well as issues like safety at port or where to sit at dinner. That's why we put together this complete guide to cruising solo. So whether you've cruised before or you're completely new to cruising, in this video we guide you through the process of picking the best cruise for your next vacation. The first step in selecting your solo cruise is choosing the right cruise line. That's possible you've been loyal to one line for a long time and know it well. But even for first-time cruisers or first-time solo cruisers, it can be important to pick the right setting for your cruise vacation. First, consider how old you'd like your fellow passengers to be on average. Premium and luxury cruise lines tend to have a more mature clientele due to the price point, but newcomers like Emerald Yacht Cruises attract affluent couples and cruisers in their 40s and 50s as well. On the same token, budget-friendly cruise lines like Carnival make cruises more accessible to a younger demographic. Are you looking to party with the 20-somethings? Demographics are also affected by time of year, itinerary, and length of the voyage. There are typically less kids and families during off-season times of year, like fall when school starts, or just before and after winter and spring breaks. Longer and more exotic itineraries will attract older or retired couples who have the time and money to travel at length. You could avoid families and kids altogether by selecting an adults-only cruise line. Cruise lines like Viking Ocean Cruises and Virgin Voyages offer those 18 years or older. Viking is more likely to attract mature couples interested in the destination and enrichment, while Virgin Voyages welcomes an 18-plus crowd who are looking for a good night out. If this is all new to you, then we highly recommend you talk to a travel advisor about the fellow passengers before selecting a cruise line. Another thing you want to consider is crowd size. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Not every solo cruiser is ready to jump in and mingle with thousands of other guests. Choosing a ship style that suits your personal comfort level sets you up for success when cruising single. If you'd rather be among a small group that you can get to know over the course of the sailing, then consider something like a river cruise, an expedition ship, or small ship cruising. If you don't like the idea of everyone knowing your business, or the possibility of traveling in a sea of couples and families, then a mid-size or a larger ship might be a better environment to thrive in as a solo cruiser. Mega ships might seem intimidating at first, but they allow you to get lost in the crowd, or meet a different group of people every night. Another way to determine if your prospective cruise line is solo-friendly is to see if they offer meetups for single cruisers. These get-togethers can be as casual as a standing time and place on the daily program, or more formally organized by a designated host. Again, work with a travel advisor, or even ask a cruise line representative if that particular cruise line offers meetups, or look for reviews online. Select ships even offer a dedicated solo cruiser lounge. This lounge is a built-in social hub for cruisers sailing on their own and staying in a single room. Norwegian's Studio Complex and Lounge is available on a handful of its ships that feature studio or solo cabins. Make sure when investing in cruise lines and cruise ships, you find one that offers programming that actually interests you. And if it does, then the connection should flow. Are you a home chef? Then you can book a cruise with an onboard culinary kitchen, like Oceania Cruises. Then get creative with fellow cruisers during a cooking class. Or, do you love to dance? Cunard Line offers free dance lessons in its formal ballroom. Luxury cruise line Silver Sea offers a gentleman host on select cruises for evening dancing or as shore excursion escorts. While this gendered idea might seem a tad antiquated, it is intended to make single women of a certain age feel more comfortable at social gatherings. Another way to ensure you'll meet some other like-minded individuals is to book a theme cruise. Cruise lines offer theme sailings for everything under the sun, from jazz cruises to Star Trek to Broadway. Get lost among some fellow fans on a cruise celebrating your favorite celebrities or pastimes. A themed cruise provides a built-in icebreaker. Another thing you need to consider are the cabin options and staterooms on your particular ship. Not all solo cabins are created equal, and here's why. The single supplement. Most stateroom categories are priced at double occupancy, which means the cruise fare is based on 2 individuals in a room. Unfortunately for solo cruisers, they're not getting a 50% discount for being the only one in the cabin. In fact, to make up for estimated lost revenue, cruise lines charge a supplement to most single cruisers that is 100% of the fare, which honestly to us seems very unfair. Be vigilant before booking your cruise cabin regarding what you're getting for the price. Some single rooms don't come cheaply, but include a dedicated lounge and social space. Other cruise lines might waive these extra fees, especially on river cruise ships. Now, one way to avoid the single supplement is to decide on a dedicated solo cabin. Cruise lines including Cunard, Holland Line, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean all offer cabins designed and sold to solo cruisers. Sometimes referred to as studios, these rooms are relatively small, on average, but are priced for a single cruiser. Now, Virgin Voyages shook up the cruise booking game when it introduced fares that automatically adjust based on the number of sailors to a room. Therefore, if you're one person booking a room, the rate will drop from a double occupancy price to one for a single passenger. Although honestly, this is not a 50% discount, but it's still cheaper than paying for a double occupancy room. Keep in mind, because there's only a small block of solo cabins on any given cruise ship, they sometimes sell out in advance. So if you want to be in with others cruising solo, make sure to nab one of these rooms early. There are a host of other benefits of booking early. Those include greater room selection, so there are more cabins to choose from, and you typically get the lowest price. Once booked, you can take advantage of other sales and promotions in the cruise planner, like discounts on shore excursions, drink packages, and other upgrades. In our experiences, booking 6 to 12 months out often gives you the lowest fare. And if for some reason the cruise rate actually does drop, you can always contact the cruise line about getting a credit. We are all for saving money here. So another tip is to watch for sales and promotions that waive the single supplement. Set up a Google alert or employ the help of a vigilant travel advisor to be on the lookout for these solo-friendly promotions. Vantage Travel and Talk are cruise companies, which also offer land tours, that won't charge a single supplement on most of their itineraries. River cruise lines are notorious for waiving single supplements or greatly reducing them to 10 or 25%. On any cruise, it never hurts to ask. Simply requesting to waive the single supplement could work in your favor. And if that tactic doesn't work, booking early or last minute could result in a better chance of getting a cheaper single fare. For some individuals, sitting alone at a cafe is nothing out of the ordinary. But for many of us, there's nothing more anxiety-inducing than having to brave an entire meal by ourselves. This can be especially true when the meals are 3 courses and in a grand dining room of hundreds of tables. No need to fret, as we have several tips to help you when dining solo on a cruise ship. First, speak to the Maître D on the first day of your cruise. This crew member oversees the main dining room and can be a bit of a puppet master when it comes to seating arrangements and guest preferences. Befriend this individual early. Sure, you can sometimes submit seating preferences online before you board, but nothing guarantees you'll get the right fit like speaking directly to the Maître D. Scope out your assigned dining room, if you have one, on the first day and ask to see your table. Do you want a tiny nook for one? Or are you willing to bet on a larger table with other guests? If you thought you found the perfect seating arrangement and find out after night 1 or 2 it isn't for you, don't worry, it's never too late to speak up. If you get stuck at a table with some undesirable fellow guests, no one is blaming you if you ask to be removed for the remainder of the voyage, especially if you end up making friends during the sailing and want to dine with them. After all, it's your vacation, whether you're sharing it with anyone over bread and butter or not. More and more cruise ships offer a range of specialty dining venues. Some have so many different restaurants that it's impossible to eat at them all during a 1-week cruise. This can work to your benefit as a solo cruiser if the idea of eating in the same dining room night after night doesn't appeal to you. Make some reservations at specialty dining venues. You'll not only treat yourself to an elevated meal, but give yourself the luxury of a night off from a sea of couples in the main dining room. While most specialty dining venues charge an associated fee, some also come with a show, like teppanyaki on Norwegian Cruise Lines or Le Petit Chef on Celebrity. Some MSC cruise ships also offer Cirque du Soleil shows and dinner theater. These distractions are enough to keep everyone entertained and most certainly not wondering whether you're there on your own. Now, another bonus of specialty dining is the ability to sit at a bar or a counter. There, you can interact with the chef or the waitstaff, and your solo status is less conspicuous. Some of these venues might include a sushi restaurant or a pub on board your cruise ship, with a lively counter or bar seating. Some cruise lines even have casual pubs with bar seating that are complimentary, like the local restaurant on many Norwegian Cruise Line ships. Also, many cruise lines offer other casual dining options that are more quick service, which might just hit the spot a few nights of your cruise. These venues might include a buffet, or a pizza parlor, or sandwich shop. These options are great for individuals who are always on the go and don't really want to sit down for an extended, longer meal. Then, of course, occasionally room service can hit the spot. Of course, we're not encouraging solo cruisers to hide out in their cabin for every meal. Sometimes, though, the social energy is lacking. In those cases, it's nice to have a space to enjoy a meal in the privacy of your own room. Nearly every single cruise line, except for some river and expedition lines, offer room service, and it can be an indulgent treat to watch a movie in bed while chowing down on a burger. You do need to watch for room service fees. Typically, you'll only be charged a few bucks per order, so order as much as you like off that menu. If you had the ability to splurge on a room with a balcony, it can be a great place to wake up for breakfast or sip a glass of wine at sunset before heading out for the evening. Keep in mind that there are very few to no single cabins that come with a veranda, so most likely you would need to pay some type of single supplement to get a room with a balcony when cruising solo. If you made it this far, chances are you've given serious thought to cruising single. But there are a few helpful pointers worth mentioning to any solo traveler. Connecting on Facebook or on message boards prior to your cruise can be a great way to connect with other solo cruisers. But it's worth remembering Internet 101, which is never give out any personal information to strangers, even if they seem like friends. Use a first name or a handle only and keep your stateroom number private. While tagging yourself to a location instantly via Instagram or TikTok might seem like a fun way to keep friends and family in the loop, it can also make you a target. Consider waiting until you're back on board and heading to the next port before giving away your whereabouts to the world. Also, know your limits with alcohol and stick to them. Before saying or doing something you might regret, being intoxicated without a trusted companion around to intervene can be dangerous. Also, watch your drink and never accept drinks that you don't see made or served at the bar. Unfortunately, being single on a cruise also means being responsible for yourself and keeping a certain level of wits about you at all times, especially in any port. But this doesn't mean not to put yourself out there. This might sound a little corny, but remember why you took this trip in the first place. You won't be able to make any new connections or meet any future cruise friends if you don't step slightly outside your comfort zone. Do what makes you happy. Go to trivia. Enjoy those dance classes. Attend the shows and other onboard entertainment. But remember that nothing ventured, nothing gained. This applies as much to your attitude on board as it does to booking your solo cruise. While we focus mostly on your experience on board, you do also need to consider how to cruise solo when ashore. Getting out in each port and exploring the destination is part of the thrill of a cruise. While this is 100% possible to achieve without a group, setting out in an unfamiliar place on your own can be daunting. There are plenty of options when it comes to booking shore excursions and tours, or sightseeing as a solo cruiser. All cruise lines offer a brochure of shore excursions in each port. While group size varies depending on the number of guests on board and the type of tour, a cruise line-sponsored shore excursion includes other participants from your cruise ship. Befriend other cruisers during a day of snorkeling or on a walking tour, or you can scan social media groups or those message boards to find other people on your sailing looking to organize a group for a tour in port. Another benefit of signing up for shore excursions through the cruise line is that it guarantees you won't be left by your cruise ship. It also ensures you're spending the day with a vetted tour operator and with other individuals on the same ship. But honestly, traveling solo is a time-honored tradition And there's nothing wrong with stepping out on your own in port. However, it never hurts to be savvy about your surroundings and your safety. Before disembarking, get a sense of your whereabouts, including the name of the pier, where the ship is docked. Bring a map of your daily program, which includes important phone numbers and contact information in case of emergency, or simply snap a picture of this on your mobile phone. Make sure that your mobile phone is fully charged, and bring a wireless charger if possible. Also, check your data settings to see if you're able to access GPS functions like Google Maps. This could be helpful to find your way around in a pinch. While keeping your wits and belongings about you is recommended in any port, make sure you do a little homework, or ask a shore excursion representative about the place you'll be exploring before you do. Some docks are located in remote industrial areas, and it's recommended to secure transportation to the city center instead of walking alone or at all. Many cruise lines also offer destination or port talks. These might be a valuable source of information to help you plan your day ashore. And while it might seem a bit excessive, consider letting a trusted friend or family member from home know about your plans and when you expect to be back. Or check in with the front desk and make sure they have your contact information. If you're a little nervous about seeing the sights alone, but are also definitely not into a crowded bus tour, you could consider hiring a private driver. Reputable private tours can be found in many places, but most cruise lines also offer this option through a service that they vet. Any kind of car for hire, especially an all-day tour, doesn't come cheaply. However, the luxury of your own private excursion might make this option worth it for some. Imagine the peace of mind that comes with not having to navigate your own transportation. And we can speak from personal experience that some private tours we've had in Europe, the Caribbean, and Alaska still rank as some of the best tours we've ever taken. Now that you're super excited to plan your first solo cruise, why don't you check out our video for the top 15 cruise tips all first-time cruisers need to know. Whether you're traveling solo or with a family, our expert tips let you know exactly what to expect and give you more information about dining, onboard activities, entertainment, and more to help ensure your first cruise is truly unforgettable.